Milking Shorthorn and red and white Holstein exhibitors can be heading to the ringside with your spring heifer calves. Milking Shorthorn and red and white Holstein spring calves in the ring, please. Bring them on. Ladies and gentlemen on the ringside, welcome to our milking Shorthorn dairy cattle and red and white Holstein dairy cattle shows here this afternoon. We're very fortunate to have two young men place our animals. Mr. Joe Nash, formerly from Kentucky and now residing in the state of New York, is our milking Shorthorn judge. Mr. Nash has fitted many of outstanding dairy cattle during his years as a fitter throughout North America, served as herdsperson and show manager for many outstanding establishments. He's judged many state and local fairs and has served as an associate judge at both the All-American Jersey Jug and the All-American Dairy Show. We're very happy to have him here now. Currently, he is employed by Lamb Farms in New York, assisting with embryo transfer, IVF, and general herd health. Mr. Joe Nash will be judging our milking Shorthorn. And in our red and white Holstein show, Jason Zimmerman grew up leasing and showing Holsteins from his grandparents and uncle in Frederick County, Maryland. And he also had the opportunity there to work with many All-Americans that were bred by the Johnsons, and he has been a member of the Maryland winning 4-H team at Dairy Expo and also the judging team at Virginia Tech. Jason, too, has judged many regional and state fairs from Florida to Maine, all up and down the East Coast. At the current time, he is resident of Western New York, where he works as a dairy nutrition consultant for Holtz Nelson.
Good afternoon. I'm excited to be back in the ring again, judging your milking Shorthorns. We have an exciting class, spring calves to start out the show with. The first place heifer comes to the front of the line, rather handily heifer. You love her head carriage, her ring presence. Heifer, she's a little sharper over her shoulder and a little fuller in the crops today to go over the second place heifer. The heifer in second has advantage just being a little more mature, being a little more heifer to go over the heifer coming out here in third, the May heifer. Nice group. Congratulations.
Shorthorn exhibitors, we're ready for your winter heifer calves. Shorthorn, milking Shorthorn winter heifer calves, please. Results of the milking Shorthorn spring heifer calf class that just left the ring. Entry number 817, Mile High L Rockstar, started by GE Lazy M Apple's Legacy, was exhibited and owned by Peter Vale of Mile High Genetics in Valenti, New York. Second to entry 816, Quietness Tanbart Christine, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. Third to entry 814, SS Cyride Searock, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel of Union Bridge, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn winter heifer calves, please. Red and white exhibitors in the barn can be bringing your winter heifer calves to the ringside.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's give these red and white breeders and exhibitors a big round of applause here to start this spring calf class. Real handy winner here to start the class for me today. A heifer just shows you so much length from end to end. She uses that length and just having a little bit more mass to her middle, a little bit more drop of fore and rear rib today to get over this very stylish calf here in second. Heifer in second, you love that long, clean, feminine head and neck. She uses that length of femininity, especially up through that front end, to get over this extremely balanced, correct calf here in third. Calf in third is an April calf, and give her the advantage over the calf in fourth, just being a little bit fuller in those crops and just a little bit cleaner, especially down through that hock for me today, than this deep-bodied calf here in fourth. And fourth over fifth for me today, just a little bit more balanced and cleaner from end to end. She's a little bit more angular, has a little bit more sweep and openness to that rib structure to get over this calf here in fifth. Congratulations.
Red and white winter heifer calves, please. Red and white Holstein winter heifer calves. Red and white Holstein results of the spring heifer calf class. The first place heifer calf received the special award presented by the Sales Alliance of Maryland Hillbrook and Borderview Genetics. To entry number 880, Intense Analyst Callie, sired by Analyst, exhibited by Matt Hallbaker and Amelia Summers of Interstate Health Heifer Care in Clear Spring, Maryland. Second was entry number 882, Pheasant Echoes J. Avalon, exhibited by Rayleigh Stamball of Pheasant Echoes in Westminster, Maryland. Third to entry 881, Intense Analyst Callie, red, exhibited by Amelia Summers and Matt Hallbaker of Interstate Heifer Care in Clear Spring, Maryland. Fourth to entry 876, Berlin A. Hot Toddy, exhibited by Rowan Kisser of Radley Bend in Kemar, Maryland. Fifth to entry 877, Mrs. AOL Roses Are Red, exhibited by Lindsay Smith of Hollowview in Calora, Maryland. Sixth was entry 280, Champ View W. Joyride, exhibited by Shannon Lastly of Dublin Hills Farm in Woodsboro, Maryland. Entry 873, Glad Ray K. Suduka, exhibited by Megan Browning of Bronside Farms in Finksburg, Maryland, was seventh. Now in our red and white ring are our winter heifer calves.
In this nice class of milking Shorthorn winter calves, our first place heifer comes to the front of the line rather handily for me. She's the most correct heifer in the class, and I feel like she moves the most freely. I prefer the thorough placement on her first place heifer over her second place heifer. Because of that, I feel like she places her leg a little more correctly when she's on the move. Second place over the third place heifer, just feel like she's a little more dairy, a little more angler in her rib design, also a little longer in her frame. The third place over the fourth place heifer, just a little more of her today, also a little more lift to her front end. The fourth place heifer over the fifth place heifer, she gives up a little bit of size to the fifth place heifer, but she's a little neater in the way she holds her crops, and also I prefer the levelness over her rump. Congratulations.
Milky Shorthorn exhibitors, we're ready for your fall heifer calves. Results of the Milking Shorthorn winter heifer calf class that just left the ring. Entry 820, Hardcore Siride Rocky Top, sired by Henkensee Siride, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View Farm, was first. Second to entry 819, Hardcore Sea Ride Firebird, exhibited by Brittany Centel of Alldale Farm in Jefferson, Maryland. Entry 821 was third, Quietness Bunny Monroe, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. Entry 818 was fourth, Daysland Acres Bettina, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. And fifth was entry 822, Quietness Detroit Frederica, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farms in Whitehall, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn fall heifer calves in the ring. red and white Holstein. Winner calves in the ring. Please bring your fall calves to the ringside.
Well, really nice class here in this winter calf class here. For me today, after I got him in line, this heifer here shorts herself to the top of the class for me. Just has the advantage of the rump structure. Prefer the slope of the rump of this heifer here in first. Also prefer the way she stands on those rear legs for me today. Just a little bit more comfortable on those rear legs and a little bit more fuller in the crops than this ultra dairy heifer here in second. Second over third for me, it is that dairiness and femininity from end to end. She's so long and clean about that head and neck, sharp over that shoulder, and just more prominent over those hooks and pins, a little bit cleaner in that thigh for me than this big, powerful heifer here in third. Heifer in third, you love the size, scale, and strength, and just that length from end to end. She uses that length as well as just having a little bit more correct throw placement for me today than this deep-bodied heifer here in fourth. Fourth over fifth for me, just the advantage in dairiness again, just being a little bit sharper and cleaner from end to end than this dairy long heifer here in fifth. Congratulations.
In the fall calf class of our Milking Shorthorn show, it's a close placing between the top pair of heifers for me. Kind of go back and forth a little bit. But for me, the first place heifer is just holding her loin a little bit nicer. Although I do like the front end and the pretty dairiness to the head and neck on her second place heifer. She's going to use that to go over the third place heifer, and also has the advantage of being a little more open in her rib design today. The heifer coming out in third, you love how correct she is. She has the advantage of being a little more centered in her thorough placement to go over this long feminine heifer coming out here in fourth. The fourth place heifer has the advantage over the fifth place heifer, just being a little cleaner in her hide today and having a little nicer head carriage. Congratulations.
Milking Shorthorns, we need your summer yearling heifers in the ring now, please.
I know I scratched this one out, but this is the number we're going to use. It was in there twice. But this is the red and white number, and that's a Holstein number. So, does that make sense? There's not a red one. There's a B for 6 place.
As our red and white fall calves coming in the ring, the winter heifer calves that just left the ring, recipient of the special award presented by Brad and Sheila Garst to the first place winter heifer calf, entry number 890, Jack's Analyst Comet, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst, exhibited by John Brown II of Witching Hour Farm in Gretna, Virginia. Second to entry 891, Blonde and Cheerful Lipstick, exhibited by Ryan Ferris and Matt Hallbaker of Interstate Heifer Care in Clear Spring, Maryland. Entry 892 was third, Red Violet Ireland, exhibited by Mike Yeager of Bulldog Holsteins in Frederick, Maryland. Entry number 887 was fourth, Siren's Altitude Salty, also exhibited by Michael Yeager of Bulldog Holsteins in Frederick, Maryland. Fifth was entry 886, Dardale Analyst Alaska, exhibited by Dale Dow of Dardale Farm in Glenrock, Pennsylvania. Sixth was entry number 889, Derwin ASM Mischief, exhibited by Michaela Durr and Dusty Durr of New Windsor, Maryland. Entry number 893 was seventh, Vossman War Snickers, exhibited by Carolyn Kimball of Kimball Way Holsteins in Millington, Maryland. Eighth was entry 888, Fritz Farm Junior Jingle, exhibited by Addison Fritz of Good Friday Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Ninth was entry 885, Arb Flow Springs Rebel Mason, exhibited by Corey and Aaron Black of Arball's Flowing Springs in Union Bridge, Maryland. 10th was entry 473, Locust Air Analyst, exhibited by Ella Fritz of Good Friday Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn exhibitors, results of the full heifer calf class that just left the ring. Entry number 825, Mile High Light My Fire, was first exhibited by Peter Vale of Mile High Genetics in Philadelphia, New York. Second was entry 824, Shocking Wild Liberty, exhibited by Katie Schultz of Shocking Genetics, Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Third was entry 826, Daysland Acres Oak Naomi, exhibited by Sherry Albo of Daysland Acres in Walkersville, Maryland. Fifth was entry 828, SS Lucky Strike Pumpkin, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel of Union Bridge, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn Summer Yearlings now in the ring.
In a nice class of Milking Shorthorn Summer Yearlings. Their first place heifer that you admire the length. She uses that to her advantage to go over the second place heifer. I also prefer the set to her leg. I feel like she places her leg a little more comfortably than the heifer coming out here in second. The heifer in second carries the pattern of her openness and dariness to her rib design. Uses that in her advantage to go over the third place heifer. The third place heifer over the fourth place heifer. Just a little more solid in her loin today when you look at her top line. It also just tracks a little nicer when viewed from the rear on her rear legs. Congratulations.
Milking Shorthorns, we're ready for your spring yearlings. Results of the Milking Shorthorn Spring Yearling Summer Heifers. that just left the ring. Entry number 832 was first. Crystal Star F Lottery. She's sired by Innisfail Mega Lottery, exhibited by Steve and Marissa Little of Rise Above Genetics in Thurmont, Maryland. Second to entry 831, Daysland Acres Deca, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. Third to entry 830, Quietness Sea Ride Hazel, exhibited by Carolyn Lawrence of Toll J. Sow Farm in Nottingham, Pennsylvania. Fourth to entry 829, SS Lucky Strike Posey, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel of Union Bridge, Maryland. Fifth to entry 828, SS Lucky Strike Pumpkin, also exhibited by Sage Grossnickel of Union Bridge, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn Spring Yearling heifers entering the ring.
Well, beautiful class of red and white fall calves here, and a pretty handy winner for me here to start the class today. This heifer just spells balance for me from end to end. You just love the drop of forward and rear rib. Has just that long feminine head and neck, and she carries that femininity back through her rump. She uses that as well as just being a little bit more heifer from end to end than this extremely stylish heifer here in second. Heifer in second over the heifer in third. Heifer in second, I prefer that rump structure just a little bit. She's a little bit more even over those hooks and pins for me today. I prefer the way she stands, a little bit more comfortable on those rear legs, especially when they stand in line, than this long, powerful heifer here in third. Heifer in third, admire the length from end to end, the size, scale, and strength. She uses that length, just being a little bit more wider on that chest floor for me today than this heifer here in fourth. And fourth over fifth for me today, I just prefer the balance of the heifer, prefer that rib structure just a little bit more, and also prefer the way she holds those legs a little bit more squarely beneath her, especially when they stand in line, just a little bit nicer over that rump structure for me today. Congratulations.
Holstein, red and white Holstein summer yearlings, please. The Holstein, red and white Holstein fall heifer calf, the recipient of the Copacetic Farm Special Award, presented by the Rossing family, to entry number 492, Miley Warrior Galore, exhibited by Jesse Lee Muse of Etoile, Kentucky. Entry 900, Pheasant Echoes J. Dex, exhibited by Byron and Bud Stamball of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Third to entry 897, Stolehaven St. Angel, exhibited by Norman Voss Jr., Dave and Sandra Chance of Clayton, Delaware. Entry 940, Timo Ranger Assault, exhibited by Tom Mercurio, Jordan Everly, and Carol Wojciechowski of Mercurio Farms in Woodsboro, Maryland. Entry 895, Pheasant Echoes Avy, exhibited by J.C. Miller and Brian Stambo of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland, was 5th. Entry 896, Berlin Strobella, exhibited by Marshall Mongold of New Windsor, Maryland, was 6th. Entry 899, Mrs. Aol Redesign, exhibited by John Brown II of Witching Hour Farm in Gretna, Virginia, was 7th. Entry 894, Dardale Mustaf Phoebe, exhibited by Dale Dahl and Casey Dahl of Dardale Farm in Glen Rocks, Pennsylvania, was 8th. 9th was entry 898, Big Guns All Zucchini, exhibited by Arn and Alexis Arball and Arn Black of Arball's Flowing Springs in Union Bridge, Maryland. Red and white Holstein summer yearlings coming in the ring.
In our milking shorthorn show, we have a beautiful heifer that won our summer yearling or spring yearling class. A heifer that you look at her from across the ring has such a beautiful profile. You really love the front end, the ring presence, and the head carriage she has. And beautiful drape to her rib. Then you get back behind her, has such a square, wide rump. She's going to use that width through her rump and that deep open rib to go over the second place heifer. The heifer in second, the heifer that just a little more front end to her, and also a little fuller in her midsection to go over this long heifer coming out here in third. Congratulations.
Our milking shorthorn spring yearling heifers that just left the ring. Entry number 834 was first, Quietness Money Floral, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. Second was entry number 833, SS Lucky Strike Cupid, exhibited by Sage Grossnickel of Union Bridge, Maryland. Third was entry number 835, W2 Motown Daffodil, exhibited by Wyatt Snyder of Hampstead, Maryland. We only have one milking shorthorn winter yearling, so please have your fall yearlings to the ringside, and you can be getting your first and second place junior females to the ringside to select our junior champion.
Just the one entry in the winter yearling class of our milking shorthorn show, but a heifer you really have to admire her length and her style. Certainly a heifer could handle a lot of competition.
Our first place milking shorthorn winter yearling, entry 836, Quietness Money Hamel, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. We have two fall yearlings, then we will select our junior champion. So if you could have our first and second place junior females in our milking shorthorn classes to the ringside.
Two very nice heifers in our milking shorthorn fall yearling class. Our first place heifer has a little more power, a little more strength, a little more lift to her front end. While she is stronger, she is also a little more feminine in her brisket than the second place heifer. I also prefer the correctness over the rump structure on the first place, and she's also a little cleaner down through the bone in her leg. Congratulations.
Shorthorn exhibitors will now select their junior reserve junior champion heifer. The first place milking shorthorn fall yearling heifer, entry 839, Daisland Acres in Fugo, started by BDF Marsh's Honey, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daisland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. Second, entry 838, Hardcore Sea Ride Firestar, exhibited by Carolyn Lawrence of Tolstier Sow Farm in Nottingham, Pennsylvania.
Two very different heifers here to start this red and white spring yearling class. The heifer I'm starting with is heifer just shows me more mass from end to end. She's got more width on that chest floor. She carries that width back through her rump. She uses that width as well as just having a little bit more spring, especially when viewed from the rear, to place over this ultra dairy heifer here in second. Heifer in second, you love that ultra dairy femininity. She uses that dairiness as well as just having more drop of fore and rear rib today to place over this long heifer here in third. Third over fourth for me today. Prefer the way the third place heifer holds that loin. A little bit harder top for me. Just a little bit neater over that tail head. A little bit nicer the way she tracks on those rear legs in this fourth place heifer. Fourth over fifth, just a dairy heifer from end to end. Shows me a little bit more openness and sweep to that rib structure than this heifer here in fifth. Congratulations.
Red and white Holsteins, we're now ready for your spring yearling heifers. Results of the red and white Holstein summer yearling heifer class. The first place heifer, the recipient of the special award presented by Josh and Leanne Sanders, to entry number 903, Windsor Manor Rory, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst, exhibited by Kelsey Zepp of Windsor Manor in New Windsor, Maryland. Second to entry 908, Pheasant Echo's Favorite, exhibited by J.C. Miller and Byron Stambaugh of Pheasant Echoes in Westminster, Maryland. Third to entry 904, Sandhaven, Coney Island, exhibited by Josh and Emily Sanders of Sandhaven in Littlestown, Pennsylvania. Entry 902 was fourth, North Effect Tease Me, exhibited by Caitlin Moser of Thurmont, Maryland. Fifth to entry 906, Arbflow Springs Mo McKinsey, exhibited by Arn and Corey Black of Arballs Flowing Springs in Union Bridge, Maryland. Sixth to entry 905, Arbflow Springs Joe Hershey, exhibited by Arn and Brady Black of Arballs Flowing Springs. Seventh was entry 1002, Thayrview Drake Aaron, exhibited by Cole Thayer of Thayrview in Thurmont, Maryland. Eighth to entry number 907, Savagely Bliss, exhibited by Kevin Ford of Blue Star Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. At our milking Shorthorn rink, Judge Mr. Joe Nash from New York State will select our milking Shorthorn Junior and Reserve Junior Champion heifer respectively. Red and white Holstein winter yearling heifers can be coming to the ringside.
Well, in this red and white Holstein spring yearling class, heifer I'm starting with just uses that tremendous uphill run, that depth of forward and rear rib, and she just holds those legs a little bit more squarely beneath her, especially when they stand in line to place over this ultra dairy heifer here in second. Heifer in first, I do prefer that pin placement a little bit more than the heifer in second as well. Second over third today, she's just an ultra dairy heifer. Second heifer just a little bit longer and cleaner about that head and neck, a little bit sharper over that shoulder, shows me a little bit more openness and sweep to that rib structure today than this heifer here in third. Then third over fourth for me today, heifer in third, I just prefer the way she tracks on those rear legs. She a little bit smoother as she tracks out on the move and uses that as well as just being a little bit cleaner down through that hock to place over this wide heifer here in fourth. Congratulations.
Red and white Holstein winter yearling heifers to the ring, please.
Certainly a nice group of heifers out here in our milking Shorthorn show for junior champion. while it hadn't been a very big show in numbers, the quality, especially here at the top end, sure has made it really fun out here to be judging them. If you would, give them a round of applause. I pulled 3 heifers out. I pulled out her first place winner calf, a calf that's so correct, so balanced. While she has so much wit, she's still really dairy and feminine. And I pulled out her first place spring yearling. After you really love the rib design, that side profile. When you get behind her, it's so wide through her rump structure. Then you get down through her fall yearling. After it's so strong, has so much power through her front end. After has a really flat, wide rump too, and you love how correct she is when she's out on the move. So I'm going to go out, give them one last look, and congratulate our junior champion, reserve, and honorable mention in that order, and come back and give my reasons.
Winner is coming in. We need one foal. Red and white exhibitors, we only have one fall yearling. Then we will do our junior reserve junior champions, so the first and second place individual class winners can be brought to the ringside.
The junior champion of our milking Shorthorn show today is going to be our first place winner calf. She's a heifer that puts it all together for me when you want to talk about correctness, mobility, balance. Well, she's so correct, so balanced, and so white. The heifer, she's still really feminine and has her very fine bone down through her hock. She uses that advantage of being a little more feminine today to go over our fall yearling for reserve junior champion. I feel like the fall yearling, when you step back and look at her frame and you get behind her also, just carrying the pattern today with that squareness through her rump structure, just having a spring to her rib structure today to go over our first place spring yearling for honorable mention. Congratulations.
Our junior champion milking Shorthorn heifer is entry 820, hardcore Cyride Rocky Top, starred by Hankinson Cyride out of the cow hardcore Dutch Rico, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View in Walkersville, Maryland. Our reserve milking Shorthorn junior champion is entry 839, Daisland Acres and Fugo, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daisland Acres in Frederick, Maryland.
On this red and white winter yearling class, heifer I'm starting with today, just the most ready today. She's a little bit crisper from end to end, just shows me a little bit more cleanliness. I do grant the heifer in second has a little bit more rear flank, but the heifer in first just uses that tremendous amount of length and dairiness to place over this heifer here in second. And second over third for me just shows me more width and strength from end to end. She's a little bit harder in that loin, prefer that rump structure a little bit more than this heifer here in third. Congratulations.
Results of the red and white Holstein spring yearling heifer class, recipient of the special award presented by Kimball Way Holsteins and Jerseys, to entry number 910, Oakland View Affection, starred by Mr. Affection Analyst, exhibited by Emma Hutchinson of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Second, to entry 911, Derwin Jordy Marley, exhibited by Dusty Durr of Derwin Farm in New Windsor, Maryland. Third, to entry 909, Berlin Analyst Z7, exhibited by Lincoln Mungold of New Windsor, Maryland. Fourth, to entry number 912, Dardale Rompin Bambi, exhibited by Dale Dahl and Nicole Weaver of Dare Dahl Farm in Glen Rock, Pennsylvania. The red and white Holstein fall yearling winter yearling heifer, the recipient of the Pheasant Echoes Special Award, presented to entry 917, Spun Gold G Alted Spice, soared by Farnier Altitude, exhibited by Dale and Deanna Bendig of Spun Gold Farm in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Second was entry number 914, Miss ALT Sketchy, exhibited by Scott Youse of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Third, entry number 915, Derwin Analyst Maggie, exhibited by Dusty Durr of New Windsor, Maryland.
Three really nice entries in our junior best three females of our Milking Shorthorn show. Our first place entry has advantage, just being a little more uniform and showing that uniformity today to go over the second place group. The second place group over the third place. I feel like they're just a little more mature as a group today, but congratulations.
Only one entry here in the fall yearling class. A heifer that you just admire the size, strength, and balance from end to end. Congratulations.
Red and white exhibitors, we're ready to select our junior and reserve junior champions of our show. If we could have the first and second place junior female class winners brought into the ring. Results of the Milking Shorthorn junior best three females. The first group was exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietus Farm. Second to Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres. Third to Sage Grossnickel. We're ready for our Milking Shorthorn milking classes, beginning with our milking yearling. Then we will go into our 2-year-olds. Milking Shorthorn, milking yearling, please. Who was that one entry there? The first place red and white Holstein fall yearling heifer was entry number 918, North Effect Jake Cougar, soared by Cycle Miguchi Jordy, exhibited by Caitlin Moser and Alex Lenhart of Thurmont, Maryland, and the recipient of the special award presented by the Spots Pride Farm, Emily and Cody Stepp, to the winning red and white Holstein fall yearling. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to express our appreciation to the lovely young ladies who are passing out awards and ribbons here. Our dairy princesses, Morgan Osborne Watley, who is our Maryland Dairy Princess, and Leda Shepard from the South Central, and Katie Jones from the Upper Chesapeake area. Thank you very much, ladies. We appreciate.
Just the one entry in our Milking Shorthorn milking yearling class, but a heifer certainly has a bright future ahead of her, and you love the memory she has for a cow that's 3 weeks fresh. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you just joined us in the west end of the Cow Palace Show Arena here, we're about to select our junior champion of our red and white Holstein cattle show. And in the east end of the Cow Palace Show Arena is our milking Shorthorn dairy cattle show. Our milking fall yearling class is now in the ring. And previous to this was the selection of our junior champion and reserve in the milking Shorthorn breed.
Two very nice cows in our milking Shorthorn junior 2-year-old class. Our first place cows has a little more front end for me, a little more width to her front end. Then when you get to their udder, I feel like our first place cow's a little longer in her fore udder, also a little more level on the floor of her udder. And when you get back around behind them, I feel like the first place cow also adds a little width to her rear udder. But two nice cows, congratulations.
In our milking Shorthorn junior 2-year-olds that just left the ring, entry 847, Quietness Lucky Strike Neville, sired by Circle BA Lucky Strike, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm. in Whitehall, Maryland, was first. Second was entry 845, Quietness Gianna Chastity, also exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farms in Whitehall, Maryland.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these red and white breeders and exhibitors a big round of applause, please. It's been quite a heifer show. Pulled out 5 heifers here today, taking nothing away from the heifers I left in line there. Just these 5 for me just show me tremendous amounts of length, dairiness, openness, and just all walking on tremendous sets of feet and legs. Pull out your first place December calf, your first place fall calf, first and second place summer yearlings, and your first place spring yearling. Talked about them all, enough in class. I'm going to go out, I'm going to select your junior reserve and honorable mention. When I do, please follow with a big round of applause. Well, for me, folks, this fall calf, I think she walks away with it a little bit. Just so balanced from end to end. She uses that balance, just having a little bit more rear flank for me today to get over this summer yearling for reserve. And then reserve over the honorable mention. Just like I said in class, the heifer shows me a little bit more width and mass. I do love the dairiness and femininity of that second place summer yearling. She makes a handy honorable mention. Congratulations.
The red and white Holstein Junior Champion, recipient of the special award presented by Glamour View, to entry 492, Miley Warrior Galore, sired by Mr. Blonde and Warrior, out of the Cal Miley Addiction Gladdy, exhibited by Jesse Lee Muse of Etoli, Kentucky. Reserve Junior Champion, recipient of the special award presented by Premier Select Sires Incorporated, to entry 903, Windsor Manor Rory, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst, exhibited by Kelsey Zepp of Windsor Manor in New Windsor, Maryland. And entry number 908, Pheasant Echo's Favorite, exhibited by J.C. Miller and Byron Stamball of Pheasant Echo's Farm in Westminster, Maryland, was honorable mention. Coming in our red and white arena are our entries in junior best 3 females.
We have a rather handy winner in our milking Shorthorn senior 2-year-old class. Our first place cow. She comes to the front of the class, feel like she's maybe the freest moving cow in the class. It handles her legs a little bit nicer than the second place cow. Also prefer the shape to the udder on the first place cow. Second place cow over the third place cow. She has a little more bloom to her udder today, and also she's a little fuller in her flank. The third place cow over the fourth place cow is showing me a little more dairiness and a little more ring presence today. 4 nice cows. Congratulations.
Red and white Holstein exhibitors. After junior best 3 females, we will begin our milking classes with milking yearling, followed by junior 2, senior 2, and on up the line. The milking Shorthorn senior 2-year-olds that just left the class, entry number 850 was first Wiseman Motown Celebrity, starred by Echo Farm Tasler Motown, exhibited by Katie Schultz, Jeffrey McKissick, and Shocking Genetics of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. Second, who entry 854, Daysland Acres Patriot Dallas, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. Third, who entry 853, Quietness Comanche Patrina, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm in Whitehall, Maryland. Fourth, who entry 852, QT Acres Patriot Margaret, exhibited by Taylor Knight of QT Acres in Rising Sun, Maryland. Milking Shorthorn senior 3-year-olds.
Just the one entry in our milking Shorthorn senior 3-year-old class, but a cow, you love to look at her when she walks in the ring with that long, clean head and neck and the way she carries it. When you get back to her frame, you love the link to her rump, the squareness to her thorough placement. It's a nice cow. Congratulations.
Here in your red and white junior best 3, a pretty handy winner here to start the class off today. Just prefer this group here, just the dariness and openness and sweep to that rib. Just show me a little bit more drop to that fore and rear rib today in this group here in second. Second over third for me, I prefer the way they hold their loins and just that rump structure. A little bit more nearly level from hooks to pins as a group than this group here in third. And then third over fourth for me, just a placing and dariness. So they show me a little bit more cleanliness from end to end, a little bit longer and cleaner about that head and neck, a little bit sharper, especially over those hooks and pins. Congratulations.
Our red and white Holstein junior best 3 females. First was Pheasant Echoes Farm. Second to Lincoln and Marshall Mungold. Third to Derwin. Fourth to Dardale Farm. We only have one red and white milking yearling. So bring your junior 2-year-olds to the ringside. The first place milking Shorthorn senior 3-year-old, entry 860, Quietness Comanche Corona, starred by Landsbrook Comanche, exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm. The first place red and white junior best 3 females was the recipient of the special award presented by Matt and Sarah Hallbaker of Interstate Heifer Care.
Only one
Just the one entry in our production class in our red and white, in our milking shorthorn show. The cow's 10 years old. You love to admire the width to her front end and how youthful she moves around the ring. Congratulations.
Only one entry here, red white milking yearling. Cow that's been fresh since June, very dairy cow. You appreciate the strength of that fore udder. Just walking on a really nice set of feet and legs. Congratulations.
Milking Shorthorn exhibitors, we're ready to select your senior and reserve senior champion. The first place Milking Shorthorn long-time production class winner was entry H64, Daysland Acres Jethro Nora, sired by Indusfall Jethro, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. The red and white milking yearling heifer class, the recipient of the Windsor Manor Special Award presented by Jason and Donna Myers and family, to entry 926, Skip Avalanche Jim, sired by Dimetha Home Mr. Avalanche, exhibited by Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland.
Well, it's a close placing here in this junior 2-year-old class. The cow I'm starting with is just the most complete cow for me today. Not quite the dairyest cow today, but she uses her advantage just being a little bit snugger and smoother in that forudder attachment. I prefer the way it blends into that body wall over this cow here in second. Also give the cow in first the advantage of just being a little bit deeper in that seam, having a little bit more symmetry in those rear quarters for me today than this cow here in second. Cow in first also shows me a little bit more depth of heart today, a little bit more width from end to end. I do grant the cow in seconds a little bit cleaner, carries a little less flesh. Just like to give her a little bit more length, a little bit more mass, and give her a little bit more quality in that mammary system. But it is that extreme bloom and capacity, especially that rear udder, that height and width that gets her over this cow here in third. Second just shows me a little bit more length, height, and width from end to end in that mammary system over this very dairy correct cow here in third. Congratulations.
The red and white Holstein junior 2-year-old, the recipient of the special award presented by Chad Umble, to entry number 928. Pheasant Echoes Ava, sired by KCCK Amaretto, exhibited by J.C. Miller and Byron Stamball of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Second to entry 944, Oakland View Awesome, exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Third to entry 927, Holland View I Can't Stop, exhibited by Lindsay Smith of Holland View in Colora, Maryland. Red and white senior 2-year-olds in the ring, please. In our milking Shorthorn ring, Mr. Nash is now selecting our senior and reserve senior champions.
What a nice group of cows out here for senior champion of our milking Shorthorn show. If you would, give them a round of applause. Not to take anything away from the rest of the cows out here, but I pulled out 3 that I'm going to use for senior champion, reserve, and honorable mention. I pulled out her first place milking yearling. Cow that's fresh 3 weeks and already has a phenomenal mammary system and looks like she has such a bright future ahead of her. Then I pulled out our first place senior 2-year-old, a cow that's so correct, a cow that you love her udder, a cow that's very mobile, a cow that moves very fluently. Then I pulled out our first place production cow, a cow that is so wide on the floor of her chest. The cow has so much width. You watch her go around the ring. For a cow that's 10 years old, she moves around like a very young cow. I'm going to go out and give them one last look and congratulate our senior champion reserve and honorable mention and come back and give reasons. As senior champion of our milking Shorthorn show today is going to be this first place milking yearling. I feel like a cow has a little bit deeper crease for her age for a cow that's recently fresh. Also a little more level on the floor of her udder. Then when you get back and look at her frame, it has a little more extension to that neck, a little more sweep to her rib structure. Not to take anything away from our first place senior 2-year-old, it's going to be our reserve senior champion. She has the advantage just having a little more youthfulness to her and a little more quality today to go over this real nice powerful cow that we have for a production cow.
Our milking Shorthorn senior champion is entry 843, Hardcore Sea Ride Rhea, sired by Heineken Sea Ride, exhibited by Walton and Yeager of Glamour View in Walkersville, Maryland. Reserve Senior Champion. Entry 824, Shocking Wild Liberty, exhibited by Katie Schultz of Shocking Genetics in Chambersburg, Maryland. Also owned by Jeff McKissick and Katie Schultz and Shocking Genetics. The best bred and owned animal in the milking Shorthorn breed is entry 864, Daysland Acres Jethro Nora, exhibited by Katie Stevens of Daysland Acres in Frederick, Maryland. Our judge will now select our grand and reserve grand champion.
Before I name our grand champion of our Milking Shorthorn show and take a moment to thank the exhibitors here for Milking Shorthorns, it's really been a pleasure to judge and sort through these cows out here, and I've really enjoyed seeing the quality it's been out here today. That being said, though we brought our junior champions back out here, and it's a pleasure to see them with our senior champions. They look like the kind of heifers that'll turn into the cows we have out here, but for Grant, I'm going to stick with our pair of senior champions. Congratulations.
Well, here in this senior 2-year-old, it's quite a cow to start the class today. This cow just combines such a tremendous frame with a beautiful mammary system to place over a very dairy correct cow here in second. Cow in first just uses that advantage, having more width to that rear udder, a little bit more length to that fore udder attachment as well. She combines that with just that beautiful uphill run, tremendous depth and openness and length from end to end to place over this dairy cow here in second. Cow in second over the cow in third for me. I give her the advantage just having a little bit more width on that chest floor, a little bit more depth of fore and rear rib today. She combines that with just showing me a little bit more quality and venation, especially in that fore udder, to place over this ultra dairy cow here in third. Then third over fourth for me today. The cow in third just holds that udder a little bit higher above the hocks today for having one calf. She combines that with just being a little bit cleaner from end to end, a little bit sharper over that shoulder, a little bit more prominent over those hooks and pins to place over this red cow here in fourth. And then fourth over fifth for me just shows me a little bit more width and bloom to that rear udder, a little bit higher attachment, especially at the top of the rear udder, and a little bit longer, smoother fore udder attachment as well. Congratulations.
Red and white Holsteins, we're ready for your junior 3-year-olds. Congratulations to Glamourview, Walton, and Yeager on entry 843, our senior and grand champion milking Shorthorn. She being Hardcore Sea Ride Rhea, starred by Hannigsen Sea Ride out of the cow Hardcore Orally. As mentioned, Glamourview, owner and exhibitor. The reserve senior and reserve grand champion is entry 850, Wiseman Motown Celebrity, exhibited by Katie Schultz, Jeffrey McKissick, and Shocking Genetics of Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. We're now ready for your milking Shorthorn produce of dam. Our junior, our senior red and white 2-year-olds, the recipient of the special award presented by Earhart Farms. To entry number 931, Pheasant Echoes Anna Diana, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst, exhibited by Trinity Miller, Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Second, to entry 930, Locust Air Monopoly Inez, exhibited by Steve and Marissa Little of Thurmont, Maryland. Third, to entry 933, Sandhaven Altitude Lacey, exhibited by Julie Browning of Bronside Farms in Finksburg, Maryland. Fourth, to entry 932, Air Black Warrior Rebel, exhibited by Ava Kirk, Peach Bottom, Pennsylvania. Fifth, to entry 934, KC Blue Star Mackenzie, exhibited by Kevin Ford and McGonaghy Ford of Blue Star Farm in Whitehall, Maryland.
Good. Two very nice entries out here for Produce a Dam and our Milking Shorthorn show. Our first place entry has the advantage just being a little wider in their front end, having a little more lift to that front end, a little nicer head carriage. Also, when you get back behind them, have a little more spring to the rib. Congratulations. Just the one entry in the senior best three, but an entry you have to admire the quality to their memory system and how correct they are on their feet and legs. Just a really nice group. It could take a lot of competition. Congratulations.
First place, Milking Shorthorn Senior Best 3 Females was exhibited by Chris Dixon of Quietness Farm.
Here in the junior 3-year-old class, starting with the cow today, just combines that overall dairy frame and just the way she blends in that mammary system today over this cow that's been fresh 20 days. Cow in first, I prefer the way that foreudder blends in that body wall. She combines that with just being a little bit sharper and cleaner through that head and neck, shows me more openness and angularity through that rib structure, a little bit more drop of fore and rear rib today than this cow that's fresh 20 days. Cow in second, I do love that bloom and capacity she has that mammary system. She uses that just having a little bit more height and width and pop to that rear udder today. She also just shows me a little bit more smoothness in that forudder attachment, and she's a little bit more nearly level on that udder floor today than this cow here in third. Cow in third, I do appreciate the dairy angular frame. Just like to see a little bit more climb to that rear udder to get air any higher. Congratulations.
Red and white Holstein senior 3-year-olds are now coming in the ring. The junior 3-year-olds that just left the ring, the first place cow was a recipient of the special award presented by Joe and Amy Leslie to entry number 938. Mrs. Alicia is Awesome, sired by Lucky Awesome, exhibited by Natalie Yaus of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Second was entry 884, Sandhaven Ellis Island, exhibited by Josh Sanders of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. Third to entry number 937, Apple PTSDR Alicia, exhibited by Lowell Martin of Smithsburg, Maryland. Red and white senior 3-year-olds. In our milking shorthorn ring, our show is about to come to a conclusion with our last class of exhibitors heard. We appreciate Mr. Nash's placing and fishing in quick manner here this afternoon for our milking shorthorns.
We have 2 entries in our breeders herd here in the Milking Shorthorn show. 2 entries anybody'd be proud and glad to take home and exhibit and love to have in the barn. The first place entry has the advantage of just having a little more width throughout their frame, also a little length. When you look at their front ends and they walk in the ring, they have just a little more rise, a little more lift to their front end. Not to take anything away from our second place group, a group of cattle that you really appreciate the levelness to the rump, the thorough placement, and their foot and leg structure. Congratulations.
Well, here in this senior 3-year-old class, cow I'm starting with just shows me a little bit more youthfulness to that mammary system today. She holds that udder a little bit higher above the hocks for me, and just a little bit higher and tighter in that rear udder attachment. Shows me a little bit more levelness on that udder floor today, and just a little bit snugger in that fore udder. Combine that with just being a little bit sharper and cleaner from end to end, showing me a little bit more readiness to that hide to place over this long cow here in second. Cow in second, you admire the capacity of the mammary system. Just like to just get a little bit higher above those hocks to get her any higher, but really nice cow. Congratulations.
Our final class in the milking shorthorn division, our breeders herd. First was exhibited by Daisland Acres, and second to Quietness Farm. This concludes our milking shorthorn show. Thank you very much for all the exhibitors, herds people, owners, friends, and our judge for participating here at the Maryland State Fair with our milking shorthorn show. And best wishes for any of the shows coming up in the fall, and certainly look forward to having you back in 2024. The results of the red and white Holstein senior 3-year-old class. The recipient of the special award presented by Wayne and Cindy Savage and family of Savage Lee to entry 939, Oakland View Warrior, sired by Mr. Blonde and Warrior, exhibited by Natalie House of Oakland View Farms in Ridgely, Maryland. Second to entry 941, Derwin Jordy Mara, exhibited by Michaela Durr and Dusty Durr of New Windsor, Maryland. Red and white exhibitors, we have our 4-year-olds coming in the ring now. We only have one 5-year-old entry and one 6-year-old entry, so those of you in the barn may be preparing to bring your first and second senior females to the ringside.
Here in this 4-year-old class, the cow I'm starting with today just shows me more height and width and pop to that top of that rear udder today. Prefer that, just the capacity she has and the length of that fore udder, as well as just the length of frame from end to end. She uses that very dairy long angular frame, that open sweep to that rib structure to place over this dairy balanced cow here in second. Cow in second, do admire the strength in the attachments. She's so smooth in that fore udder attachment. She uses that as well as just having a little bit more symmetry in those rear quarters today to place over this milky cow here in third. Congratulations.
We're now ready for your red and white single entry 5-year-old. And we only have one aged cow entry.
Only one entry here in the 5-year-old class, but a cow that can definitely stand some mileage and some more competition. What a tremendous mammary system on this cow. Love the length of that fore udder, height and width, and that rear udder attachment. Just a beautiful dairy frame to go with it. Congratulations.
As our aged cow is about to enter the ring, the results of the 4-year-old cow class, the recipient of the special award presented by David Renee Lease and family of Leaseway Holsteins, to the first place 4-year-old, entry number 942, Spun Gold HC Jordy Rose, sired by Cycle Miguchi Jordy, exhibited by Dale and Deanna Bendig of Spun Gold Farm in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. Second to entry 943, Skip Rager Gemini, exhibited by Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland. Third to entry 946, Dardale Kazam Peaches, exhibited by Dale Dahl of Dardale Farm in Glen Rock, Pennsylvania. The first place red and white Holstein 5-year-old, recipient of the special award presented by Scott and Jill Yaus of Oakland View Farms, to entry 948, Mrs. Avalanche Avon, sired Dimethyl Home Mr. App Avalanche, exhibited by J.C. Miller of Pheasant Echoes in Westminster, Maryland. Our single age cow entry coming in the ring.
Well, again, only one entry here in the age cow class, but a cow that had 6 calves, 8 years old, still wears that mammary system tremendously well, and tracks on a really solid set of feet and legs. Congratulations.
Red and white exhibitors, we'll now select our senior and reserve senior champions. So bring your first and second place milking female class winners into the ring to select our senior and reserve senior champion, to be followed by the selection of grand and reserve grand. The first place age cow was a recipient of the special award presented by Steve and Diane Arball of Arball's Flowing Springs Farm to entry number 950, Mrs. Awesome Jealousy, starred by Lucky Awesome, exhibited by Josh Skipton of Jefferson, Maryland. Coming in the ring now are our first and second place milking class winners, from which our judge, Mr. Jason Zimmerman, will select our senior and reserve senior champions, to be followed by grand and reserve grand.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these breeders and exhibitors a big round of applause, please. It's been a tremendous quality show today. I want to thank Maryland State Fair Dairy Committee, David Hill, Mr. Browning, Denny Remsburg, everybody that's been ringman in the ring today. I want to give them all a big round of applause. Let's give them a round of applause, please. Also want to thank all the exhibitors and breeders and everybody in the back getting them ready. I know it takes a lot of work. Let's give them one final round of applause as well. Pulled out four cows with tremendous mammary systems. You love the frames, the deep open dairy rib they have, and just all walking on beautiful sets of feet and legs. Pulled out your first place senior 2, your first place junior 3, first place 4-year-old, and first place 5-year-old. I've discussed these cows in class. I'm going to go out, I'm going to select your senior champion, your honorable mention, or excuse me, your senior champion, your reserve, and honorable mention in that order. And when I do, please follow with a big round of applause. Well, for me, this 5-year-old, she's just a tremendous dairy cow. You love the mammary system, the height and width of that rear udder, just that big, deep, open dairy frame. And give her the advantage over this senior 2. I think this senior 2 has got is quite the cow herself. She's got a bright future ahead of her. Just not quite maybe as ready in that frame, not quite as sharp, but what a mammary system on that cow. And then following up with this 4-year-old, I give the 2-year-old the advantage, just being a little bit more level on that udder floor for me today, just showing me a little bit more symmetry in those rear quarters. But a tremendous dairy 4-year-old to be your honorable mention senior champion. Congratulations.
We're now ready to select our grand and reserve grand champions of our show. The senior champion, the recipient of the special award presented by Premier Select Sires Incorporated to entry number 948, Mrs. Avalanche Avon, sired by Demetholm Mr. Avalanche out of Greenlee Ad Avery, exhibited by J.C. Miller of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. A reserve senior champion, entry 931, Pheasant Echoes Anna Diana, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst. The recipient of the special award presented by Marilyn Hillbrook, Chris and Jen Hill, to Trinity Miller of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. And our honorable mention, entry 942, Spun Gold H.C. Geordie Rose, exhibited by Deanna and Dale Bendig of Spun Gold Farm in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these breeders and exhibitors one final round of applause. It's been a beautiful show. I appreciate your junior champion and reserve junior champion coming back out here today. I think 2 heifers with a lot of quality, a lot of femininity, a lot of balance from end to end. I'm going to stick with your 5-year-old and your 2-year-old as your grand and reserve grand champions today. Your honorable mention will be the 4-year-old. Congratulations and thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our grand champion, red and white Holstein, is entry 948, Mrs. Avalanche Avon, sired by Dimetha Home, Mr. Avalanche, out of the cow Greenlee Ad Avery, exhibited by J.C. Miller and Byron Stambaugh of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Our reserve grand and best bred and owned by exhibitor is entry 931, Pheasant Echoes Anna Diana, sired by Mr. Affection Analyst, out of the cow Pheasant Echoes Diane, exhibited by Trinity Miller and Byron Stambaugh of Pheasant Echoes Farm in Westminster, Maryland. Our first group class will be produce of dam.
Well, here, 2 entries here in produce a dam. For me, I'm starting with the groups. Just shows me a little bit more quality from end to end. To show me a little bit more angularity, openness in their rib structure, just a little bit darier and sharper from end to end. Congratulations.
David Hill. The red and white Holstein produce of dam group. First group was exhibited by Pheasant Echoes Farm. Second to Josh Skipton. The Produce Special Award was sponsored by Dr. Nancy Powell and Maryland Mobile Vet Clinic. In the ring now are dam and daughter entries.
Well, here for dam and daughter, starting with the group, just shows me a little bit more maturity in those in that mammary system. Showing me a little bit more strength in those attachments than this group in second with the cow and the heifer. Second over third for me, over this group here in third, I think just showed me a little bit more dariness in the frame, showed me a little bit more drop of fore and rear rib today than this group in third. And then third over fourth for me, giving them an advantage just being a little bit more balanced from end to end, a little bit more correct, a little bit prefer the legs on the group in third over the group in fourth, just track a little bit smoother and straighter. Congratulations.
Red and white exhibitors were ready for best three females. The results of the dam and daughter class just left the ring. Special award was sponsored by CJ and Tanya Miller. First went to Pheasant Echoes. Second to Oakland View. Third to Josh Sanders. Fourth to Derwin. senior best 3 females, to be followed by breeders herd, which will conclude our show. Apparently we have no senior best 3 female entries. Breeders herd. 5 head. 2 over 2, 2 under 2, 1 any age. Crystal and Tanya, you got a breeder's 5 head.
I appreciate these breeders bringing out their exhibitors herds here today. Group I'm going to start with is just a group that shows me so much more frame, so much more drop to fore and rear rib, and just width from end to end. And this group here in second, taking nothing away, extremely dairy individuals. Just like to see a little bit more uphill run, a little bit more drop of fore and rear rib to get them any higher. Congratulations. Thanks for having me.
Thank you very much, Jason. Our first place breeders herd, also premier breeder and premier exhibitor at the 2023 edition of the Red and White Holstein Show at the Maryland State Fair. Pheasant Echoes, the Stanball and Miller families. Congratulations. Second to the Youse family from the Eastern Shore. This concludes our Red and White Show. On behalf of the Dairy Department, the management of the State Fair, we appreciate you bringing your animals here. Wish you the best of luck in the coming shows in the fall. Certainly invite you back for 2024.